Hello. Stand-up comedy is the consistent battle for the correct attention from the audience. So it's up to the comedian to paint a very vivid picture for the audience to put themselves in order for them to understand the direction and laugh at the punchlines that are going to follow. And in a successful night, when people are paying attention to the direction of the stage, that's what the comedian hopes to do, to take the audience on a journey for a brief period of time by putting them in everyday situations to make them laugh at themselves and the world around us. But what happens when the audience are not there for you? What happens when the majority of gigs we have to play at the beginning of our career are open mic and grassroots gigs, and the audience, well, they simply would rather be anywhere else because it's hour number 3 and you're about to go on and you're 15th in line? How the hell are you supposed to be able to go up there and start to deliver the material that you have prepared? The answer is you simply can't. At grassroots level, it's not about getting to the end of your prepared set. It's about passing the ball. 5% in the right direction is enough for a beginning comedian. What that means is you need to do material that's going to wake the audience up and get them laughing any means necessary. And the material that you should be doing is all around you, and it's the most easy to access when you're on that stage. Because the best material for a difficult night is material that's based on something that the audience can see in that immediate situation. It's whatever the backdrop behind you is. It's the scenario and the room you are in. It's something everyone can witness right there and then. Why does this work so well? The reason it's so powerful and wakes the audience up and sets you up as a comedian and the leader of the pack for the brief time you're on stage is because the lifeline of the joke only exists in that very moment. It's only specific to that time. When you start a joke, the joke only has a lifeline in that room because you cannot take that moment with you. Whatever it is you made fun of, whatever it is you made a humorous observation about in the immediate situation, the audience live through the lifeline of that joke with you. And that's how you make a bad gig, a gig where nobody's paying attention, that little bit better. And only then, when you win them over, can you go into your written material. But I would even say in some gigs, it's better to sacrifice written material altogether and just play ball, keep the material about the immediate situation. Okay, in this video, I'm going to finish up with showing you footage I found of myself. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by what I've said already in this video. The night was not going very well. There was a lot of acts on, and then it was my turn to take to the stage. And instead of going into written material, prepared material, I decided to spend as long as I can just messing about in the room and highlighting humorous things I noticed. And then I made a monumental mistake. I switched too quickly from riffing about the room to my prepared material. It would have been perfectly fine to go into my prepared material, but looking back, the transition should have been smooth and much slower, and I should have given them more time. And you are going to be able to see when that moment happened. The energy returned to what it was like before I started riffing. And then, towards the end of the set, I start riffing about the room again, and it brought the energy like that back up again. So you can see what I'm talking about in real time with my successes and my failures in this 1 5-minute clip. The clip did cut off for me at the end. I've got no idea why, so I'm going to show you the 5 minutes. And some context is important. This was recorded in 2016. Donald Trump had just taken office, and I was performing in a brewery in London that exclusively sold 2.1% beers. So low alcohol brewery. And that's the only context you need for the set to work. I hope you enjoy it. Pay attention to the successes I have. Pay attention to the failures I have. Altogether, it's a pretty decent set. Not my finest work ever, but you're going to have to wait a little longer to see that. Ultimately, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with you on the next one.
There's always one act that the round of applause stops right before they get to the microphone. That's nice. I decided I was going to be really brave right before I even got on stage and try and avoid the 3 pits of fire that they've put in front of us. And I've been sat out there now with all you guys for the last 2 days. And there you go. You can have that. Every single guy in this room is wearing shoes with the white strip on them. Every single one of them. That's not a joke, that's just something that's happened. I figured out there's a problem, you see. Someone hasn't done something. What's going on here? That didn't work, did it? I didn't think they were going to have thought that one of us is going to start fucking with things and actually have it tied into the... We can lift it. If we all come over... No, we won't lift it. This is not a very promising thing to be seen. If someone does this to you, it's not... I'm not a very political person. I don't really have a background in politics. I've never studied it. And that's not the only thing I have in common with President Donald Trump. I'm also the least racist person you've ever met. Depending on who you've met, obviously. I mean, if you only know people who travel around in packs and beat up foreign people, just for fun, well then I am the least racist person you've ever met. But if you only know people who would never make a joke to someone else based only on their race, then I'm not the least racist person you've ever met. I don't make fun of my black friends. I don't have any black friends. I do. Want to hang out? No. Okay. I'm also a feminist, so if any of you are offended by any of the things I say here today, imagine how I feel about them. I'm an atheist. I find when I tell people I'm a feminist and an atheist, it tends to split the room. Being an atheist is a weird thing. When I meet people who are atheists, I think they know everything. They think they know everything just because they read one book by... You were useless at this, by the way. They think they know everything just because they read one book by Richard Dawkins. I've read 2. But I own 4. I listen to heavy metal music and I watch mixed martial arts. I consider myself straight, but cocaine is one hell of a drug. This is a beautiful place. Although someone has been watching too much of Breaking Bad. I know what would be a good idea. Let's all get our mates together and invest millions and make beer. That's great, that's great. I'd love to get drunk. No, not to get drunk. We're going to make a 2.1% beer. This is a meth lab, isn't it? This is a... There's no way you're making all this money off 2.1% beer. I've had 63 pints tonight. So, yeah. I've never been to I did a show in Edinburgh and I had a lot of walkouts. But that is not going to happen tonight. Not because I'm smashing it, but they've locked the door. You can't actually escape, even if you wanted to. And every now and then this light goes on, right? It's a sensor light, which means there's some creepy motherfucker just walking around back there. We don't know, they haven't brought him out. They don't, that's where they keep all the topless women who don't have passports. That's what's going on. Yeah. I've been performing quite a while. Do you want to have a go at that? I was sat behind these two guys here. They weren't here in the first half. They were over there, so then they came in, and I'm right behind them. I felt they were two security guards. I felt like I was in VIP. It's great.
Fuck off.